Hello, I'm your host, K1D Comment, and welcome back to the series I like to call Half-Assed Review, a series in which I review a game I'm only halfway done with. And this week, I'm covering the Plucky Squire. The game is developed by All Possible Future, and published by Devolver Digital. Let's go over them real quick, starting off with the publisher being Devolver Digital. They are a publishing company. You might be wondering what the hell they do. Well, I'm gonna explain. There are three types of publishers. Well, at least we're gonna say there's three types. You have the publishers that go for the big boys, aka the AAA games. Think of Ubisoft, EA, Activision, high risk, high rewards. Then you have the not really a game games, aka the mobile. Think of studios such as Supercell, King, Zyniga, I don't know how to say that, and Gameloft. And then you have games that ain't going to win Game of the Year, but it's going to win something, aka the indie market. That's where Devolver Digital resides, right next to Raw Fury and Annapurna Interactive. Now, you might be wondering what they actually do, and it's quite simple. Everything that involves releasing a game, minus the actual game itself, kind of. Prime example, providing funding, whether that's for development cost, paying the actual people making the game, or marketing expenses, and so on. Speaking of marketing, they also handle that, and promotions for the game, distributions, and making sure games get into the hands of the customer. And they mean as many customers as possible, so they help with the localization, aka translating and adapting games for different languages and regions. They do more, but I just wanted to give you a sense of what they do. And you may be wondering, why am I talking about the publisher and not the developer? And that's quite simple. I'm trying to stretch this goddamn video out, because I'm gonna be honest, there really ain't no information on said developers. See, the studio is called All Possible Futures. This is their first game. The co-founders of this studio is James Turner and Jonathan Biddle. James used to be a Game Freak artist working on various Pokemon games, such as like Sword and Shield. He also directed the game Harmo Knight, if I said that right. And Jonathan, well, he was a co-owner of Curve Digital for about a decade before he decided to up and leave to go create his own studio, being One Bit Beyond. They made a game, The Swords of Ditto, which I personally like. I enjoyed it. So that's the background. With that being said, let's hop into the review. So for this review, I'll be reviewing this with my standards being story, world, gameplay, and comic. So let's start it off with story. The premise of the story is quite simple. You play as Jot, I think that's how you say his name, aka the Plucky Squire. He's the famous hero of the story, as in the actual book, since he's the main character of said book. The story starts with him getting the quest to go stop the bad guy, his arch nemesis, but when he goes and tries to stop him, he gets knocked out of the book. Turns out that the main villain learned that they're in a book, and after going and reading throughout it, he decides, you know what, I'm done losing, and goes and changes his story. With this, the hero is forced to try and foil his ops plan before it's too late, since if he doesn't win, a child doesn't grow up to be a writer and inspire the youth, or something like that. Basically, you have to save Dr. Seuss from becoming a nobody, or even worse, a Dr. Disrespect. Thankfully, the main character isn't alone, but instead he has the help of his companions to try and save the day. Overall, the story is simple, but thanks to a very colorful cast of characters, quirky dialogue, albeit a little too much, and unique transitions, the story so far is slightly better than okay. Nothing mind-blowing or spectacular, but suitable, satisfied. I mean, it's leaving me satisfied. And speaking of colorful, quirky, and unique, it's time to talk about the world. I'm going to break it up into the book world and the out of the book world. The book world has a host of locations such as the forest, the castle, the swamp, mountains, and so on, each having different styles and aesthetics. For the out of the book world, it takes place on a kid's desk, and I use kid loosely due to some items being on the desk such as scissors and tape and stuff that you just wouldn't want kids to have. Not because it's danger, but sometimes them niggas be annoying with stuff. The story interweaves both the book and the table world, having to switch between each other to progress through the story, along the way meeting wacky characters, whether it be Jot's friends or the bookworm that helps Jot while in the table world. Since books are like time traveling or space manipulation or transcending reality, man, this shit don't make no damn sense. Now that I'm saying it out loud. Matter of fact, it follows the same logic as the series Deadpool Illustrated, part of Killology. It's a comic run where Deadpool realizes that him and everyone lives in comics, so he makes a vow to free everyone by killing them. Later coming to the realization that to truly kill a comic book character, he has to go kill what inspired them, which is other famous novel characters such as Moby Dick. And that, like, this game has that type of logic. But hitting back to the story, more characters help Jot out, such as the archer that gives him a bow. Not what I'll fight though. No, speaking of fighting, let's just talk about it. Let's talk about that gameplay. See, this game is I think it's a 2.5. It could be a 2. But you know what? Let's go with 2. A 2D/3D action adventure puzzle game, or in this case, a puzzle action adventure game. The reason why I say is 2D/3D is due to the game switching perspective. While in the book world, the game is 2D, 2.5. I actually don't know what D it is. Let's just say you got 2 Ds and go with that. It's a flat surface, but you can go up and down, yada yada. And for the table world, it's a full 3D. It's pretty cool to look at, and the way the game makes a switch between them is also cool as well. The combat, simple and basic, nothing to write home about. You use the square button to attack, X to jump, circle to dodge, and I think triangle might be a heavy attack. Don't quote me. Surprisingly, there is an upgrade tree. No, not an upgrade tree, a upgrade shop. You find these little light bulbs and use them to purchase new skills or to improve skills based on what's available. It's kind of rudimentary, my dear Watsons. There's also these little pictures you can find or just outright buy. I don't think they do anything besides you can just look at them. It does nothing for me. What does do something for me is the puzzles. There's 2 types of puzzles that I would like to talk about. I'm gonna call them the word puzzles and the logic puzzles. See, the word puzzles are just that. Words. On occasion, you will come across a situation where a sentence will be on the ground that says something that is happening or is on the screen, and oftentimes you can see like a word in that sentence that can be removed or filled with another. Most of the time it's an adjective or adverb, something to scribble not, but instead of writing the word, you have to find it, allowing you to progress. This is fine for you. It allows for some wacky fun, like making this frog bigger, but nothing too crazy. Now, the other set of puzzles that I called the logic puzzles is where the game impressed me. Instead of just changing words, now you have to add on other things such as being able to leave the book to go get a word to use in a sentence, having to physically move the book to solve puzzles. The ones I've seen are pretty unique. Speaking of unique, I forgot about the minigames. Minigames pop up all through the story. They take inspiration from other games such as having like a punch-out minigame or a RPG turn-based minigame, or even whatever this is called. I don't know. There's more such as platforming, but I think you got the gist of it. Overall, I do like how they use different forms of literature, such as books, novels, and comics. Speaking of comics, I think it's time to talk about them, because this game has issues. First off, this game did crash on me once or twice, and while that may not sound like big, it sounds kind of small, which granted it is, because I played for like 4 hours. It's also something that I'm not used to, given the fact that the publisher being Digital Devolver Digital, those guys are kind of big. They played a part in why I even was looking forward to this game. I like the game they published, but yeah, this was kind of below their standards, or maybe just me. I don't know. But let's move on to this game in particular. Combat, kind of ass. It's too simplistic to stand on its own. It needs something, whether it be a combo system, maybe some static effects. Hell, this game could have been a turn-based combat game. It would have been better. Puzzles. I want more of them. So far, what I've seen seems simple, but has room to be more complex. I wish they will be. I'm gonna keep playing though. The world needs to be bigger and damn near open world. Listen, these types of games benefit from having an open world slash side quests and side quests. Prime example, there's 2 of them. First being a game called Cat Quest. It's an open world that lets you choose what type of hero build you want. You can make the hero a melee-oriented fighter or one that uses magic. You can also forego the main mission to handle the side quests instead. Another game, one I brought up earlier, the Swords of Ditto. I like how they did it. How you could just handle things and just go off on your own and not have to pay attention to the story until you want to. So basically, you could, take your time with it. And this leads to my biggest problem with this game. Too much fucking dialogue. Listen, I'm sorry, but for every 45 seconds of gameplay, it's a whopping what seems to be 2 minutes of just seeing niggas talk. And yes, I said seeing niggas talk since the voice acting is only given to the narrator. Everybody else, you have to read. You will complete an area, walk to a new area, talk to the damn shop, walk to a new area, and it's forced to talk to more people before you can see gameplay again. You know what? I'm gonna put it right here in the background so you can see what I'm talking about. They managed to mix the worst aspects of an indie game and one of the worst aspects of a linear game, and they just put them together. And you know something? This will work if they change up the format of the game. Instead of doing this linear style of game, either they could A, make a semi-open world with different maps and different missions on the maps, or if you don't want an open world, then B, have a hub where you can activate missions, like how Astrobot did. They made one hub world, and the other worlds are for missions and also various types of missions, in which gameplay isn't bogged down by writing. Now, there's some other nitpicks I have, but I'm tired of talking. And with that, I want to hear what you have to say. Comment down below how you feel about the game. By the time this video up, I'm more than likely will have already beaten the game. So with that, Galaxy needs me. Farewell.
Both face and mind are free for you to draw. I'm a shapeshifter, have no face to show. Please don't take off my mask, my disguise.